So let's dive in and take a look at what we mean by chrooting and chroot jails. Very often we hear these terms, but maybe we haven't come across it. We don't know exactly what we mean by it. So let's look at what we mean by chrooting. A chroot jail can protect against malicious attacks. What we're really doing with a chroot jail is that the directory that we name when we specify the chroot or change root location will appear then as the root of the file system. We must first create the directory structure. So we're going to create then directories that the jail is going to require. So usually directories like the bin directory, like the etc directory. Maybe like the lib directory for shared modules that programs are going to use. Within this environment, the name daemon cannot access anything else. To set up and specify the location, we use the option -t on the system startup. And we can do this or make it easy for us within Ubuntu using etc default and bind 9. When our system then runs in a chroot jail, the DNS server has no access to anything other than what's in the chroot jail. And during the startup, with the option -t in place, then the DNS server is going to copy across all of the required files into this temporary structure. So if there is then a malicious attack on the DNS server, it will only remain whilst the server is running. As soon as it shuts down, we discard those changes and then start up afresh from our real configuration files and our real zones. During this module, we're focusing mainly on the terms, such as the terms of chroot, but we'll go through now and take a look at this default file to get an understanding of some of the settings that are in the default file. And later on, when we get more into the security side of things, we can see how chrooting is set up. So we can look on the screen and see that we're going through and take a look at the text file /etc/default and bind 9. When we look inside this configuration file, we can see a couple of lines that are being set. First off, the resolve.conf is saying whether or not we're going to use the client file, the resolve.conf, as our forwarder list. So this is disabled by default. In the options line, this is where we're configuring then the startup options for the DNS server. And we've got then options -u bind. So these are the default options. Should we want to then enable the chroot jail, we would specify -t and then the path through to the chroot jail. Let's move back to the slides now so we can start taking a look at how we can control our name daemon.